Okay. It's a big video. That's a big deal. Okay. I know what the problem is. I know what I need to do. Okay guys, so in today's video, we're just gonna do something a little bit different. We're not getting a ton of snow right now, so I just wanna keep production going along on the channel and getting some content out to you guys. The biggest question that I get in the industry, other than where I get my jackets made, is what type of blower do I recommend? Behind me is 3 of the exact same tractors. These are all L6060 tractors. We have the Pronovost Cyclone, the Frontier, which is made by John Deere, and we have the Norman Hybrid. All 3 are, hybrid style blowers. When I say an inverted blower, I think about more or less that orange one over there. They're a little bit different. They're more pull type blowers. These, I classify them all as a hybrid. I know hybrid's technically Norman's name, but they all have that same slant in them. They let you get up close and personal to garage doors, not leave snowbanks behind as you leave. And they're kind of my claim to fame. I'm the only person right now that's really running these at the extent that I am running them in my town. And I've gotten, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of hours of seat time and management time operating a fleet with now 3 of these different units. I want to show you guys around each one individually, talk about the pros and cons, and what I believe would be the best fit for your guys' snow business. So first off, we're going to start at the bottom of the barrel with cost. In the middle, and it's dirty because we use our equipment, this is John Deere's Frontier SB1174P inverted snowblower. We picked these up in 2021. We had them on John Deere 4 Series. We've offloaded those 4 Series. Now we have on the back of an L6060. And honestly, the real reason this is here is because we couldn't find one of these 2. They're hard to source. This was kind of a last minute purchase, so we picked up this again. We've done a few things to add, obviously ice picks, jerry can holders, and shear bolt toolboxes. But outside of that, it's very obvious just at first glance, we're talking obviously 74 inches compared to an 82-inch blower. So there's a lot less size. It's a very petite, tiny little snow blower, but don't let that fool you. This thing can throw snow. The biggest problem that I have with this blower particularly is its cutting edge. The cutting edge on these blowers, they are just horribly made. The price to get one actually rigged up that's interchangeable, and that's mainly because these are built for residential use. They're not meant to be going through the abuse that I put these things through every time it snows. These are meant, if you have a home and for whatever reason you got enough money to buy one of these setups for your own personal property, then good for you. I could never afford these if it wasn't for the business. So for me, it does not work at the extent. Yes, we do residential snow management, but these tractors do hundreds of driveways each. So we just don't have a use for this blower. To get to the fan, you have these like twist knobs. They just seem cheap. They don't seem to be able to hold up to the abuse. See, you lose them. That's a prime example. And the amount of things that we've lost because of systems like that, it's just, you're always replacing them, you're always spending money, and anything from any dealership, Kubota, John Deere, anything, you're gonna be paying out your ass for what, a piece of plastic. The door's also just really cheap, it's really thin. Again, this is not me hating on a John Deere product, it's just the reality of this compared to this. I mean, it's pretty obvious which one is built better. Both of these, the one thing they do have in common outside of paint color is the way that the hydraulic top links work. So on this tractor and this tractor, they're both plumbed differently, but they have hydraulic top links that run from the back of the tractor into the blower itself. So there's nothing on the blower that's hydraulic, it's a top link itself attached to the tractor. When you compare that to how the Cyclone does their hydraulic top links, this is probably one of my favorite features of all of them, is you'll notice the top link is the same that comes standard on any stage of 3-point hitch on any tractor. The hydraulic top link's actually a cylinder built and pre-plumbed into the blower from factory. I'm a big fan of that. I think that's really cool. It saves you needing to go out and spend a couple grand on getting this set up. So this is a great feature that Cyclone has done right. This holder for your hydraulics, I mean, there's no rust on it. It's been getting used all winter. They only get washed every once in a while. The other setups, they're not as clean as this. You have access to everything, even just the angle that they put all of these inlets on are so that you can put your adjustable on there and take these on and off as needed. So that is, it's well thought out. Like, I appreciate the little detail that they put into that. It's just a cleaner system than when you go over here. They got everything bolted down. It's just really hard to replace a line. It's not difficult, but it's just more complicated than it really needs to be. The one negative part of this Cyclone that I have noticed is this chute loves to get loose. It shouldn't be loose right now, it's not, but we've had to tighten this down a couple times. It will kind of slide back and forth and get off that gear and make it not want to spin. So other than that though, it's been fantastic to use. My number one favorite part of this, outside of that top link, is this cover, how easily it all opens up. How easily this is accessible with plenty of room back here. On the Normans and the Frontiers, you're hitting your hands because this area is a lot more narrow. It cuts off like here. You're hurting yourself, you're bleeding out in the middle of the night and it hurts. And the chain cover. If you look at how clean that chain is, it's perfect. No snow, nothing has been getting in there. I love that. I absolutely love that because our chains on the other blowers, which I'm going to show you guys in a couple seconds, they're completely out in the open. They don't have this shield at all, and they just get beat all to. I also like this little clip. Notice how it doesn't fall off. You take it off and it's right here. You don't got to worry about dropping a bolt into the snow in the middle of the night and being stuck. That's just a brief look over that. The back doors are completely different on all of them, but this blower is, if you're gonna run them, if you have no choice, they're cheap, so I don't blame you guys. Like these, we're talking 10 grand difference here in price tags between the hybrid Cyclone and then this. So if you do need to run one, there's a reason why I do have one on my fleet. I would strongly recommend, it's hard to see, I don't even know if we're gonna be able to, yes we can. Oh, look at that, not tight. This right here is the same shear bolt size that fits into a Norman hybrid. That's not standard for this. So we actually drilled out this shearing point to be able to fit a larger shear pin. And I get it, I know what you guys are gonna say, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm aware, it's just, quite frankly, I don't care. I mean, I might even weld them on this one. I don't care if it blows a gearbox. This is a spare blower. It doesn't need to do anything more than get me to the end of this winter, and then it can sit in the back of the yard, and we're gonna probably put another Cyclone or another hybrid on it, depending on what the money is saying. This is its own category. It has a perfect use for homeowners. It has a perfect use for, you know, just some guy that wants a cheap blower and kind of experiment with it a little bit. At the scale that we're at, the Frontier is the wrong choice for this business. Don't buy it if you're trying to do this business model, especially on a primary unit. If you kind of got a backup unit like I have here, might be something to consider, but your main units, you're gonna wanna work with Normans or you're gonna wanna work with Pronovosts. That's my experience, that's my, you know, opinion. It's not fact. I don't think that just because I'm saying it, it's reality. I don't wanna hurt anyone's feelings, but quite frankly, I really don't care if I hurt anyone's feelings either. That's my opinion, Norman or Prono. Those are the two brands that you know that they're legitimate companies, they're building them, producing them, and they're being tried in the field by hundreds of contractors every time it snows, and they're standing the test. Yes, there's gonna be people in the industry that come up with different ideas, and that's the whole fun part about having an opinion. So, the hybrid, honestly, not, like there's elements to it, like it's similar with the Frontier. You have these clips. So you have things that you can lose when you're opening these back doors. They pop up. Sometimes these bolts are kind of a pain. You're trying to jam that door back in there. It gets rather annoying. The door style to access the shear bolts are identical between the Frontier and the Normand. They're both on hinges right here. You have this pin that you pop up and open it goes. Same idea. You have your shearing point and your chain, which is obviously clearly visible compared to the Cyclone. There's really not much of a difference. It's just the grade. So everything I find is a little bit beefier, a little bit heavier duty. And Normand is by and large sold by John Deere dealerships for a reason. They're fantastically designed pieces of equipment. Personally, where I am in New Brunswick, this makes more sense over a Pronovost Cyclone. Only because why spend, you know, we're talking an extra $2 to $3 grand. This is going to run you $2 or $3 grand more than a Normand. Does it match the orange paint? No. Can you probably get one? Sure. But at the end of the day, this isn't a beauty competition. I got a red blower, I got an orange blower, and I got green blowers. They're all on the back of the tractor, but they all move snow. They all get the job done. So if you're looking to get into the industry, buy what you can get your hands on, whatever makes you money, and then use that money to get into one of these things. The Cyclone, although I love it, it's been the most productive blower that we've had. It hasn't had any issues. It gets a lot of snow out of that blower quick. I mean, when we had 2.5 feet of snow back on January 1st, this little tractor, it hummed right through it. And it was pretty impressive. It was able to keep up with the bigger 92s, but so did these. And you know, that couple seconds, is it worth $3 grand to you? I don't know. That's up to you guys to decide. For me, the differences between the Cyclone and the Normand are rather negligible. They're not gonna make or break your business either way. You're gonna still have a good quality product, and honestly, you're not gonna notice that much of a difference. Every tractor feels different and every blower feels different. One hybrid's gonna feel slightly different from an identical hybrid, and an L60 is gonna feel slightly different from another identical L60. Every piece of machinery kind of has its own personality, quirks and kinks that make it what it is. At the end of the day though, all three of these blowers will move snow, they'll get things done. A couple things to note though that are not demonstrated on this fleet. I run pretty bare bones inverted hybrid style blowers. There are upgrades. So these Cyclones you can have with gravel rollers. These rollers will come down on hydraulics, and personally, that is the biggest waste of time I've ever heard. Not because the idea is a waste of time, I should probably rephrase that, it's a waste of money. Your customers aren't gonna pay extra for that. Sure, you don't want to throw gravel, but if you're in this industry, you should be able to fabricate your own rollers on the back of that. It's not rocket science. You can buy two hydraulic, setups. It's two hydraulic cylinders from Princess Auto. You're a couple $100s in. You get some tube, you weld it on, and you put the cylinders in and plumb it to a diverter on one of your other hydraulic lines, and you have a hydraulic roller. Instead of paying, an extra 5 to 10 grand on the back of a Cyclone to have that roller, you can probably make one yourself. That's what I'm thinking about doing, is making in-house rollers. Now on the hybrids, they don't come with rollers, they come with compactors, so it's a similar idea. The whole point is to kind of lift that blower off the ground a couple inches and give you that clearance over gravel. Not only clearance, but compact the gravel underneath so it then freezes and gives you the ability to not throw gravel in your clients' driveways. Both have different concepts, so they start to, after this phase, they start to kind of go different roads. You have a roller, you have a Normand compactor, and the one thing that I have not heard, and I could be completely wrong on this, is I don't think that the Pronovosts have a live edge. The Normands are now coming with live cutting edges, which is big. I'm thinking personally for my business, when I'm gonna be running hybrids, I'm gonna have the wings on the side, the compactor, works fine for me and I can make one myself. The biggest complaint that we get in this industry is a thick layer of snow, which is literally what I'm standing on, that the blowers cannot pick up. They don't. And that's the number one complaint we get. In one way it's good because it helps funnel our salt and sand sales. But on the other end, I would love to be leaving bare pavement. We've spent all the money to get out there. We have, $1 million in heavy equipment. And to think that we're leaving any snow out there is kind of aggravating to me. So obviously with the amount of equipment I have kicking around, I can't just, let's go buy new blowers today. But going forward, I find every year I kind of make changes to every tractor, and slowly over time that interval will come where we're running a full fleet of, up-to-date pieces of equipment. And these are my little tractors. So I don't know if that's useful to any of you guys. I'm just kind of spewing off the top of my head what I think, what I know, what I've experienced with all three of these. There's a time and place for every type of blower. If you're gonna run an L60, run an 82, don't run a 74. It's got enough power to move snow out of that 82. Don't be hesitant about it, and leave it below. What do you guys find? Cyclone, hybrid, Frontier, other brands, right? There's a lot of new guys in the industry that are like Bilodeau, Viper. There's a whole lot of different brands out there that are trying to push their blowers. And at the end of the day, does it move snow and does it not break? is really the only opinion. Don't buy something just because I have it here, and don't buy something just because someone else has it there. Figure out what works for your industry. If you have a lot of wet snow, you might not even want to run these blowers. You might want to consider running Kotex. There's a whole lot of different environments where different applications are needed. For us, these do the trick right now. It might change in the future. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe. This isn't our normal video. Normally we're doing vlogs. I'm not a big, walk around equipment, review it type person. I don't take notes. That's just what I've noticed running a residential contracting business. So appreciate it. Peace.